I'm Sarah from Everyday Starlet. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a video. It's kind of a series I started last month. It's kind of like your makeup wardrobe. It's a different kind of makeup collection video. I will be showing you my makeup collection, but I'll also be showing you basically the essentials that you need to have for each category of makeup in your makeup wardrobe. And this is basically essentials for the everyday woman or person, whoever wants to wear makeup. You know, not for your beauty guru. It's just for people who really want to get more into makeup, but their lives don't revolve around makeup. Are there people out there whose lives don't revolve around makeup? That's crazy to me. I did this video last month with sort of primer and my foundation, which I will link below. Today we're going to talk concealer, so if you want to see what I have in my concealer collection and what you need to have in your concealer wardrobe, and then just keep watching. I also want to mention that this makeup I have on right now, there will be a tutorial on how to do it coming up next week. So be sure you stay tuned for that, and be sure you subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of my videos. Okay, now for starters with concealers, I would say every woman should have 2 to 3 concealers in her makeup wardrobe. You could have more, obviously, but I would say 2 to 3. The reason why I say 2 to 3 is because the first category I have is the smallest. This one is not necessarily necessary for everyone, although I do think that most women probably, or most people would probably need this in their wardrobe. If you're lucky enough to not have dark circles under your eyes, then I don't know how you did it. But for most of us who have some kind of dark circles, bluish or greenish, depending on your skin tone, underneath your eyes, you're probably going to want a under eye color corrector. And I actually have 2, and I'll be totally honest with you, I go back and forth as to which one of them is my favorite. I have, as far as drugstore, I have the NYX Dark Circle Corrector, or Concealer. Dark Circle Concealer. Why can't I talk today? I think I was trying to put circle and concealer in the same word, and I came out with I don't know what I said, but anyway, this is just sort of like a salmon-y color. That's essentially what you're looking for in sort of your color corrector, is you want a salmon-y color. The other one I have is the Tarte CC Under Eye Corrector. To be totally honest, they're very similar. Almost exactly the same color. You probably can't tell on camera, but they are almost the exact same color. Overall, I've been using the Tarte one more because I feel like it's a little creamier and it goes on a little bit smoother, but I'm really being nitpicky here. To be honest, they're both great. So if you have issues with dark circles in your eyes, I would definitely recommend getting some kind of a color corrector. Honestly, when I got one, it totally changed the game because I could not find anything that could cover up the dark circles under my eyes. And so definitely one of these, I would say, unless you're blessed with no dark circles, in which case you can skip it altogether. The 2 other sort of main areas of concealers that you need are, I would say, I'm gonna call it a highlighting concealer and like a concealer. Concealers used to be just to conceal, right? But now I feel like people are using them to sort of highlight the face and stuff like that. So I'm going to kind of cover the, I guess, smaller category we'll go with, of the sort of concealers. Like, this is like, you have a pimple, you have some kind of blemish, something you want to cover up. Here's the key to picking out concealers, like a blemish or imperfection concealer. You want to match your skin tone. You don't want to go with some of these that are lighter than your skin tone, which is what we'll get into later. If you put something lighter on your face over a blemish, guess what? It's going to highlight the blemish, and we don't want to do that. We want to cover it. So you want to get it kind of matching your skin tone. For years, I used the YSL, I'm just going to say this is the YSL concealer because it's got a big long name with some words in it I can't pronounce. I used this for years. And it's very heavy, it's very creamy. It doesn't feel heavy necessarily, but it is very thick and it's more of like a stick concealer. It's very full coverage. It definitely will cover things up, but I guess I hadn't really explored other options. This is kind of before I started doing YouTube, and I found some other options that I personally like better, but I would say this is an excellent concealer if you like sort of a thicker, like a stick concealer consistency, and you want something that is like very full coverage. I do think this is a great option. I also want to throw in, I don't really use this as much because I have so many others that I feel like I found that I like a little bit better, but that doesn't mean this is a bad concealer. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I feel like I kind of set this one aside and I don't use it quite as much, not because it's bad and it's a great drugstore concealer. It's just I found other ones that I like better, so I use those more often. I also am going to mention this again a little bit later on, but this is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. I hesitated buying this because Nars is pricey, but I finally broke down and was like, I'm going to try it. I got this in 2 shades, and I used the shade Vanilla if I need to cover up blemishes, and I use a lighter shade later on, but I'm going to get to that later. So I do like this. I feel like this Nars Creamy Concealer and the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer are similar. They have similar wands. They apply similarly. So if you really don't want to spend the money on the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, the Maybelline Fit Me is a nice option, but personally I like the Nars one a little bit better. What I love most for covering up blemishes, which is not technically a concealer, although it does have concealer in the name, but this is actually more of a foundation. It's the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer. Here's the thing about this. Obviously, your foundation is supposed to match your skin tone. I don't know why I'm hitting my face with this. And if your blemish concealer is supposed to match your skin tone, then how ideal is it that it is a foundation and concealer in one? This is a full coverage foundation that you can use. In fact, I have it on right now all over my face because I usually wear it when I'm filming because I want full coverage because, you know, I'm on the internet, then I don't want blemishes and stuff to show. So I will use this as a full coverage foundation. However, it actually has like almost like a concealer wand on steroids here. It is excellent as a foundation, but I think it is even better as a concealer to just dot on blemishes because I think a lot of concealers can get cakey around blemishes. At least I have that problem a lot, so I love that this one doesn't. I mean, there's no cakiness, it just looks smooth, and I love this as like a blemish concealer. And you know, maybe you don't get blemishes ever or imperfections, but I can probably guarantee, even if you may never get dark circles, at some point in your life, you're going to have a blemish or something that you want to cover up. So I recommend, even if you don't use it every day, having one of these blemish concealers in your arsenal in case you wake up one day and you have a very important meeting or a photo shoot or something and you've got like a honkin' zit on your nose or something. I'm just saying, if that never happens to you, then you are luckier than most people. Next is sort of the biggest category I have here. It is what you'd consider like highlighting concealers. And this is probably the one that I would say I use most often and that most people will probably use most often. They are great for layering over your correctors. You sort of dot on your color corrector under your eye or right around the dark areas, and then you would put a highlighting concealer on and you can put it under your eyes. You've probably seen dozens of people put it on their T-zone and stuff. And I think that's great for throwing on quickly, even if you don't want to do a full face highlight and contour or strobing or anything. You don't want to go into all that fancy stuff. It's sort of just a great, like, everyday throw on and your face just looks a little bit more polished. So I have a few that I really like. One that I used for years, actually along with my other YSL concealer, I used to kind of double up on that, is the YSL Touche Eclat. It's Radient Touche. I'm just going to call it that because it's got another, like, I think it's like a French name or something, and I don't know how to say it. This I feel like was I feel like this was the catalyst to the brightening under the eye. And it's pricey. It is great. And at the time that I started using this, it was kind of like this was what was out there for brightening concealers. It's not really as much a concealer because it's not going to conceal. It's more of a highlighter, but it's a concealer that highlights. It's complicated. I feel like there's other more affordable options out there now, so I don't get as much use out of this as I used to. People also claim that this can be used as a color corrector because it does have a slight salmony color. I've just never found that this on its own is enough to cover up my dark circles. Similar along the same lines, I think, is kind of where this Physicians Formula is their Nude Wear Touch of Glow Nude Stick. I've actually never used this, so I'll be totally honest with you. I bought it because of the packaging. I love the sheer foundation that is this same packaging that is in the same Nude Wear line, so I really should give this a try, but I just haven't tried it yet. The next thing I'm going to mention, this is actually the, like, as far as drugstore goes, this is like the It Under Eye Brightening Concealer. Everybody was always talking about the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. I think I have this in another shade too. This one is Light, which is the one that I have tried the most. I feel like everyone was gushing about this for so long. I think I have one that's a little bit darker too. I don't know, I like it, but I never got it. You know, I never got why everyone was just sort of gushing over this. Like, they were, oh my god, it's so great. It's the best drugstore under eye concealer ever. And I was like, it's good. You know, I mean, I wasn't like gushing about it, so I didn't really get it until I picked up the Age Rewind Concealer in Brightener. It's the shade Brightener, and it's actually like pinky, but it's like iridescent. They have these sponges on the top, which I actually kind of like for application, but I still blend it in with my beauty blender. I don't use this to blend it in. This is amazing as far as drugstore for like under eye brightening. Again, if you have dark circles, this alone, for me at least, doesn't work. I need to just kind of dot on a color corrector first and then I'll dot this on, but this is great. I think as far as drugstore goes, I think this is like the best brightening concealer that you're gonna find. For my top favorite brightening concealers, I'm kind of on the fence as to which one I like more. There's the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is in the shade Chantilly, which I believe is the lightest shade, so I use that for under my eyes and for highlighting. And then I also have the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. This is in the shade Fair Neutral. I'll be totally honest, I've been using the Urban Decay one more now just because it's new and I've been playing around with it, but I love the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. To be totally honest, I feel like they're kind of a tie as to which one I actually like the best. That is what is in my basic concealer wardrobe, and again, these sort of 2 to 3 essential concealers that I think you need to have in your wardrobe. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any favorite concealers that I either mentioned or I didn't mention and want to add to this makeup collection, or if there's any that you really love that you think I should be trying out that I should add to my collection, then definitely let me know. Leave them in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. I'd also love if you subscribe to my channel, because then we could be YouTube friends and we can hang out and you won't miss any of my future videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you join me next time.